Donnie and Dolly. The team is supported by ableauctions.ca. Closing your business? We can help.
Okay. It is Friday, and all of our guests today brought to you by our friends in Campbell River, Quinsam Communications Group. They also help us out. Quinsam does with Is It Just Me? Lots of reaction into the Delaney's OK Tire and Langley inbox. A lot of it has to do with Chipgate. From Paul, the man stole old room service off a tray in a Vegas hall. Are you surprised? That story won't go away, and I stand by that story.
Bingo.
You see an untouched meal. You've had a couple. You're coming back Friday night in Vegas.
2 in the morning.
Untouched meal in front of you. It with the cover on, by the way.
You don't know 100% it was untouched.
It was the presentation was as such.
It looked like
it was
that.
clear nobody had touched it.
Don't know.
Ask Rintoul. He was there.
Oh yeah, I'm going to trust his opinion.
Trust me, he won't remember, but
Exactly.
there's a chance he'd back me up. Thomas Drance joins us now from The Athletic. Canucks 8 games left. They start a 5-game homestand tonight against Calgary on Pride Night. Joining us is Thomas Drance from The Athletic. How are you, sir?
Oh, I'm doing well. Don, honestly, it's always a good day when I get to join a Burnaby legend on the air. The Don Taylorian one.
There you go.
A man who has covered sports in this province on radio and television with ingenuity, rapier-like wit, modern-day Danny Gallivan. Right? Your call, Donnie, on NHL 2002 still stands as the best in hockey video game history. And so it's an honor to join you.
Thank you.
And also Rick.
I knew you were going there. Is the check in the mail from Taylor for that? What the heck was that?
Yeah.
No,
I'll send you a bag of chips.
I think it got lost in the check that Elaine was sending you. Hey man, if you gotta puff up your agent buddy who's joining you on the program, don't add and also Thomas Drance. Everyone knows I'm on the show. Everyone knows I'm on Friday.
No, they don't.
Just leave it be.
You're not that big.
Yes, they do.
No, they don't. You're not that big. You're not that big, Thomas. You're not that big, Thomas.
Exactly. So puff up your buddy, and leave me out of it. And also Thomas Drance. What is that?
Hey, I'm pumping the show. What do you? I'm pumping the show. It was a good tweet.
Hey, keep this in mind though. Thomas is a regular.
Yeah,
Elaine Waugh isn't. We want to keep Thomas
and
happy.
Also the great Thomas Drance. Last week, Scotty Bowman, 2 greats. Yeah. You and Scotty.
Hey,
boy,
what are you looking for from the Canucks over these last 8 games?
What I'd love to see is more of what we saw in St. Louis, which was one of the games that I've liked the best from the Canucks. Not just because they lost, but here's what I really liked about the game in St. Louis. I liked that they won a game in which their goaltender wasn't the best one on the ice, right? Like I liked that the team, sort of steadied the ship, maturely found a way back in it, and 6 on 5 with the game on the line. Who was out there still to press their advantage? It was Dakota Joshua, right? They decided to use that game like a lab experiment. Can Dakota Joshua complement 2 of our most skilled players on the top line? And even in leverage, when the game's result was truly in doubt, they left him there. Now, I think that what's happened to this team, 10-3-1 over their last 14 since Demko's return, riding Demko, playing the wheels off their best players. Like, I think most of this basically qualifies as worst case scenario for this team. But I liked on earlier this week, Tuesday, when they left the experiment, the thing they wanted to see, and prioritize that as opposed to just putting their 6 best players out in sort of a desperate attempt to win the game. They stuck with what they came there to do. They stuck with what they came there to see. I'd love to see this team continue to use these last 8 games, not to chase as many points in the standings as possible, but to experiment with players like Dakota Joshua, pushing them, giving them sort of stretch projects, seeing what they can do in different roles. They did that on Tuesday. I want to see more of that over the last 8 games.
Hey, Thomas, can you understand, building on that, can you understand why Rick Tocchet has become such a fan of Dakota Joshua's?
Oh, of course. I've been really impressed all season. Like, you know, there was that one moment in preseason. Remember when Niels Höglander got jumped by the Calgary Flames in Abbotsford? And Dakota Joshua was on the ice and there was no answer. And the team wasn't happy with that. And but aside from that, the moment this season started, it was clear that he had speed and wheels, especially when used on the wing. And this is a guy who's mostly been a center throughout college, in the Blues organization. Like, he's mostly played center. This is the first year he's really been exclusively a winger. And his speed and size and just disruptiveness plays along the wall so well on the forecheck. And from there, it just sort of kept growing, right? You could see the hands in tight in moments. You could see him becoming a little bit more comfortable being that physically assertive presence. You know, aside from that one moment in preseason, I think this guy's had just a phenomenal season and been a real find. More than that, Donnie, the sort of player on the sort of contract that has enormous value because of how hard it is to find, you know, heavy type players in this league, particularly for less than $1 million.
Thomas, when it comes to Quinn Hughes, I'm running out of words to describe this guy. Just unbelievable the season.
Who, you?
Yeah.
Who, you, Rick?
Yeah, I'm running out of words.
You took the words right out of my mouth, Thomas.
The skill, the creativity, the desire to win, the skating. I mean, this guy is unbelievable. He's only
That's a lot of words.
Yeah.
He's only 23, but do you think he's going to get is he going to garner Norris Trophy votes in your eyes or not?
I think so. I would be for me, his case is pretty close to bulletproof to be one of the top 5.
Okay.
I don't know if I'm going to have a ballot yet. I assume I will. I usually do. He'll be a very strong consideration for me in the top 5 for sure. Probably pretty comfortably within it. He's been spectacular, and I think the best compliment you can pay him is that when he's been on the ice at 5-on-5, right? This team has played not just like a playoff caliber team, like a divisional winner caliber team. It's just all those other minutes where they played like the Anaheim Ducks. Mm-hmm. You know, to have that kind of impact is just incredible. Like, I was even checking it out today, and you know, since Rick Tocchet took over 28 games ago, right? If you look at 5-on-5 goal differential, so just 5-on-5 goal differential, the Canucks have actually been outscored by 2 goals with their top 6 centermen on the ice, Pettersson and Miller, at 5-on-5 since Tocchet took over, with Quinn Hughes on the ice, +9. Right? It's just like this guy warps the gravity of the game. And he's just got it on. He's the puppet master at this point. Like, it's unbelievable the amount of control he exerts on all proceedings when he's on the ice. He's one of the best defensemen in hockey. And I do think for a player, you know, with his body type, with his fitness level, with his unique athletic gifts, like, I kind of think he's just getting started. You know, usually like 10 years ago, a player his size wouldn't really get a look in the NHL until they were like 26. You know, like, look at Brian Campbell's career, right? Yeah, guy doesn't even get a sniff until he's 26, 27 because size was such a concern for defensive players. Quinn Hughes is now like a young vet. You know, I don't even know if we have like historical comparables for how a player like this will age, because players like this haven't usually been this experienced at this age. I mean, I truly think the sky is the limit still, and that this guy's going to have a completely unique aging curve, given, you know, what he's an original, what an original player type he is.
Thomas, NCAA, it's been a pretty good 2-3 weeks for the Canucks. First McDonough, then Sasson, and now Hirose. How important to get those guys at that level, Thomas, that they wanted and they got?
Yeah, it's good. I mean, I think getting McDonough signed is the big one for me, right?
Yeah.
Sasson and Hirose's, like, that's good depth, nice gambles. Hirose turns 24, right, in like a couple of weeks, right?
Yeah,
so he does, you know, lots of these guys, they don't have a lot of runway, right? Like, you know, the story of Brogan Rafferty is instructive. You remember Brogan Rafferty comes in, same thing, right? And that first year in the AHL, he's like 24 and he's point per game. And it's there's some excitement that buds, but if you don't make the NHL like the next year, right, you basically have like an 18-month runway. This isn't like a draft pick or a normal prospect, right? Like these guys have to hit, and they have to hit fast. I think both were really worthwhile gambles, hardworking guys, good skaters, high motors, lots of regard for them in the industry. And we'll see. I know Sasson made his debut last night in Abbotsford. I caught a little bit of it. His pace looked really good at that level, had a couple of creative plays. It's going to be about what they look like at training camp next year. You hope that all three of these guys are competitive enough at camp next year that it's like a really tough decision to send them down. And then they should be signature players for the for the Abbotsford Canucks next year. That's going to be required. That's like minimum expectations if they're going to sort of keep themselves on the radar as NHL caliber prospects. Good work for sure, but you would have loved to see them land one of the right-handed defensemen in Livingstone or Malinsky.
Just when I was 91% sure it was Sasson, Thomas Drance, who I respect more than anybody.
Oh, I have no idea.
Oh, okay.
I have no idea.
You're coming up with Sasson.
Don't go off me.
Okay.
So you just guessed? You're guessing?
I don't know. What did I picked up what you were putting down? Didn't you call him that?
So you come on our show and you guess?
I did today. Yeah, sorry.
That's kind of what we do on the show anyway.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm running out of words for how to pronounce Max Sasson.
Sasson. I think it's Sasson.
You know what we'll do one of these days? We'll ask him. I don't think anybody's asked Max Sasson or Sasson yet, so maybe we'll do that out in Abbotsford. Hey, Thomas, thanks for this. Number one on the marquee today, no matter what Rick says. All right?
Lanois, number one today.
And also Rick. Hey, thanks, boys.
Thanks, Thomas. Thomas Drance from The Athletic.